Hello, Farlanders. My name is Kurt, and welcome back to Farlands or Bust. Farlands or Bust. This is episode 778 of the series as we exit the last episode's hidey hole, grab Wolfie, and just hop in a boat. Hop in a boat and head west towards these Farlands, those Farlands. Here in Minecraft Beta 173, this episode, after a little bit of a delay from Wolfie getting that bark out, this episode going live on Thursday, April 9th, 2020, being recorded live the day before. Like I said, episode 778, raising money for Pause. Not Pause on Pause, but Pause, the Progressive Animal Welfare Society here in the Seattle area, a animal rescue and rehabilitation center, the same one that I adopted Juno from. We're up to $1,482 raised this season of Farlands or Bust. Thank you everybody who continues to donate and continues to ask questions, to pad out these episodes with all the content that I can scrounge up. But as well as helping out that organization. Much appreciated indeed. Much appreciated indeed. Farlandsorbust.com is where you can learn more about the series and also find all the links and information about the charity, the fundraiser, past fundraisers, all that fun stuff. All that fundraiser stuff. Speaking of hear about things, I mentioned I was on podcasts. We did the Mindcrack podcast. And then I also joined Dan Lasac. I forgot that I hadn't talked about this since the last episode. Dan Lasac on his podcast, Falling Forward. Dan Lasac is that was a weird, nervous thing. People told me it all went well, and he told me it went well. But I'd first heard of Dan Lasac way back in the double O's when he in his band, I guess you could call it band, Dan Lasac versus Scroobius Pip, made a splash in the international music scene, and I really liked their music, got their albums and stuff like that. So, and I just whenever I found they were doing their own solo thing, and he was just online, I was finding his music and stuff like that, and then he started doing Twitch. And that's it's just crazy now he had me on his podcast, and his podcast is part of the speech development podcast, which is Scroobius Pip's podcast. I don't know what to call it, Empire, I guess. So yeah, that was cool to be a part of. That, like I said, podcast is called Falling Forward with Dan Lasac. You can Google it and do whatever and listen to the episode I was on. And I appreciate him having me on that podcast. As you know, I don't do the interviews and stuff anymore. I just get so nervous. And honestly, it's just not a deal. the Guinness World Records thing. Not that was like a horrifying experience, but it's just like, man, I don't have the social fortitude, the emotional aptitude to keep doing these things. I'd rather just do what I do instead of talk about what I do. He says, talking exactly about what he does, constantly, for 35-minute episodes at a time. But beyond that, I do appreciate you joining me for this episode. We're also doing, and I'm not sure if this episode is going to publish on YouTube and on the podcast in time, but Mindcrack this past Tuesday, did a self-made hidey hole. Well done, hidey hole. You're a self-made hidey hole. Did a UHC for Extra Life charity, similar in I guess scope to our like spring marathons we've done, which have, plans for everything have been thrown into the grinder, I suppose you could say. So We've been doing this week, I think, is the Extra Life kind of charity week. There's a word for it that they've branded it, but I've forgotten what it is. But we did a UHC yesterday, and we're going to do one today. Today, as in Thursday, April 9th, at noon Eastern time. It's entirely possible I might not get this episode up, so you might have already missed it. Or it will go up at almost exactly the same time. Regardless, if it is still Thursday, April 9th for you, you could always check out my Twitch channel, KurtJMac, or the Mindcrack Twitch channel, which is just Twitch TV Mindcrack, and we might be doing that 3 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, which is noon Pacific Daylight Time, U.S. times. Just Google whatever that is for your time zone. I'm not here to do translations for every single time zone surrounding the globe. So yeah, those are fun. Those are fun to do. Yeah, and continuing on here. Continuing on. Speaking of things that are fun on Twitch, subscribing to KurtJMac. I did a couple of these watch parties. I don't remember if I talked about it in Farlands or Bust, but I could have sworn, and I now obviously did, getting like an email talking about how Twitch partners would be getting the opportunity to do a watch party stream with Amazon Prime content, with, you know, basically streaming episodes or a movie on Twitch to watch with their chat. And sure enough, they've continued to release the beta. Oh, I need wood. I'm sure I said that at the end of the last episode, but completely forgot. So yeah, I finally got that. It's a limited selection of titles, and it's also limited, which makes sense. You can only view or participate in it if you also have Amazon Prime Video, which makes very much sense if you think about it. I mean, alternately, you could join if you have, say, the DVD or Blu-ray of whatever title we're watching and just hit play at exactly the time it starts. But I was joined by the girlfriend. That's right, the girlfriend joined us twice already to provide co-commentary on Star Trek episodes. We watched Star Trek The Next Generation episodes. We watched the sexy loincloth episode, and then we watched the episode where everybody turns into animals. And those turned out well. You know, for fun little, I don't know how, I mean, I suppose I might try, but I don't know if I would have the endurance to do like a feature full-length movie. So I think like television episodes is probably a perfect, at least right now, unless there becomes a better, more coherent kind of system. So yeah, it would, we watched those episodes, introduced the girlfriend to the stream. She really enjoyed it because she's off work and is going stir crazy. She owns her own business that has to be shut down during all this, so she's not only going stir crazy, but also like is trying to get all these government relief funds to make sure she doesn't lose her business. You know, all these things, and that's just a mess and a half on top of it. So yeah, it's been good for her and good for me, and I hope good for those who've been able to join us. The VODs are still up there, but it's just the webcam VOD. Obviously doesn't include the Star Trek episode. I suppose I'll keep those up there because it's kind of funny, but it's otherwise kind of pointless to just watch us watch a video with the random snarky comment every now and again. But yeah. That's what's been going on. I'm sure we'll do more of that eventually at some point. And we'll be walking to the Farlands more eventually as the sun sets here. Let me try to get to the top of that hill. I'll make an elevated hidey hole. Whoa. Just without falling down that hole in the ground. Bloop, 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 bloop. Whoop. And bloop. And bloop. All right. Let's go to sleep. Oh, zombies already. What the heck? And continue in the morning. And awakeness. Oof. And continuing on. So yeah, we've also been, just in our own time, watching Star Trek. I've never watched any Star Treks. I mean, I've seen like the modern movies, most of them, and I'm aware of Star Trek, but I've, never as a kid did I grow up with it or anything like that. So I'm watching my way through Next Generation with the girlfriend, and then we just recently, since we can't like find any movies we want to watch, we're like, okay, let's make our way through the movies, and we watched the original Star Trek, the motion picture, and then the other night, The Wrath of Khan. Khan! Well, those were interesting. The first one, boy howdy. Like I knew about it, and it was far more cerebral. Certainly not a modern action movie at all. Look at that floating tree. Look at that floating tree. Look at that floating tree. All right, let's continue on. What was I saying? But yeah, it was also just like, the thing I'm noticing, certainly compared to Next Generation, is how dimly lit the bridge of the Enterprise is. And they were really, in that first movie, they were really nuts for split focus lenses on their motion picture cameras. I don't know how much any of you know about film and film technology, but split focus lenses are basically lenses that split the focus, if that makes any sense. And because it's so dark and dim on the bridge, there's so much depth of field. Y'all know what depth of field is. There's an Instagram filter for it. So, but a split lens camera would like have a foreground object in focus, but also a background object in focus. And at least in the early days, you could tell because you could see the split, because it gets a little bit out of focus and then suddenly back into focus when you have two focal points. And they were really getting their money's worth out of those lenses for that first movie. It was, I suppose if you didn't know what it was, it wouldn't distract you as much as it distracted me, but that's one thing I noticed. And having never seen the movie, the twist of what V'ger is, got me. I was like, oh, I did not expect this. I did not expect this. I mean, it made no sense whatsoever, but it was a neat little, like, oh, I know space exploration and NASA stuff. Very, very neat. Very neat. To have V'ger, aka Voyager, even though it was like a fictional Voyager 6, show up as the main quote-unquote villain? I don't think it was the villain, but of the movie was pretty fun. And I'm like, oh, I didn't expect that. But anyway, we've been making our way through those. Because what else are you to do in these days? There's so much. Spoilers, yeah. 40-year-old spoilers for you. Indeed. Speaking of Star Trek, Andreas actually had a question with their donation that I pretty much accidentally already answered. Which Star Trek series have you watched, and did you watch all the episodes? How do you like the different series? None! So yeah, I only just started. It's honestly, it's kind of like how I experienced Doctor Who. I only started watching Doctor Who with Matt Smith. I watched his whole first season, and then I went back to Christopher Eccleston, and then obviously David Tennant. Hello. And then watched the Matt Smith ones through again. And then I started watching, what's his name? The older guy. But then I just lost track of it because, you know, all this other stuff started happening, like moving across the country twice and things like that, and this whole YouTube thing. YouTube Twitch thing. It's kind of misleading calling it a YouTube thing anymore, but that's beside the point. Peter Capaldi, thank you. So yeah, I'm starting with Next Generation, which is a long series. We're up to season 4 right now. But then we would like to go back and watch the original series. Because what we do when we stream it on Twitch, the few times we've streamed it on Twitch, which is like make fun of Riker's girdle that he wears and can't sit up straight with, and you know, poking fun at things and doing weird snarky comments is pretty much what we do when we watch it alone as well. So we would certainly have the same experience with the first series, the original series. What am I doing on wool? I could use a couple bits. Couple bits of wool, please, for your troubles. Wool for your troubles. But yeah, no, I never watched any series. I had my roommate in college was like watching the prequel one, the Enterprise, I think it was called. So I only like peripherally was aware of things going on in the background, but I've heard it's not. I heard it's not very good. So I'm not like even considering that. But yeah, that is where we are, Andreas. Thank you very much for the question. Idaho Prime, speaking of spacecraft, what do you think of Challengers? No, not spacecraft. Dodge automobiles. You should be. Oh, speaking of which, side boob. I'm sorry. Side swipe. Sidebar. It's a sidebar. Ranwin Parked, the podcast. Speaking of podcast, the podcast is at the 1 year anniversary. And for the next episode, we're going to do a Q&A. So find the latest episode of Ranwen Parked and leave your A, not your A, your Q's. Ask a question in the comments. I think that's the only place we're taking questions. Car-related, cars we own, cars on Craigslist. I don't know. You need car advice? I have no idea. And yeah, put those in the comments because we need, as somebody who's very used to trying to ask people for questions to fill out content, ask those of Ranwin Parked because we'll be recording that this weekend at some point. So make sure to get those in. But similarly, I suppose this would qualify as a question for that. Idaho Prime asks, what do you think of Challengers? I had a few old ones in my youth. Got one of the newer ones a few years ago. Kind of annoyed that I see them everywhere now. I think that's honestly the case of like when you buy a car or acquire a thing, you suddenly see that thing everywhere. I know they probably aren't your thing. I just wanted to get your thoughts on them, modern or the old ones. I'm not a fan of the modern muscle cars, the Camaros, the Mustangs, Challengers. Are there any other ones of equivalent design? The retro design. They don't to me fit that aesthetic. I mean, the muscle car is supposed to be like a very light but powerful car. And there are no light cars anymore. You know, like a Subaru BRZ, if it had a bigger engine, would be more of a muscle car than the modern muscle cars are. But I also just don't like the high waistline on them. Yeah, I don't know. I've never driven one, so I can't say. I have no conclusive evidence here. But But yeah, not a big fan of the modern ones. I mean, I guess I don't mind the design cues, but the old ones, I liked muscle cars, but we can blame Cone, hashtag blame Cone. We can probably say I've become more likened to not muscle cars. Like I used to really like Chevelles. And I was walking Juneau the other day, and a really nice. Everybody had their like old cars out because it's getting nice out, and you know it's the best way to social distance is enclose yourself in a sealed environment of an automobile, and pretty much what I was growing up thinking of getting like a 70 or a 72 Chevelle blue with white rally stripes. Drove by. I'm like, that's cool. But I don't like it anymore. It's too big. It's like too big and like I can't like even I don't know. It's too big. I wouldn't not take one for free, but yeah, I don't know. It's just with the change in times come a change in tastes, I suppose. And I suppose similarly, the Challenger and the old Chargers and stuff. Let me go to sleep and continue this rant in the morning. And awakeness. So yeah, I don't know. I honestly like the early of the earliest quote-unquote muscle cars. Like the first gen Mustangs, I wouldn't not hate. The first gen Camaros are too like sought after and expensive now. But I mean even like I know Cone hates them, but like the 80s Camaros and stuff with the longer hoods and shorter trunks are kind of like okay by me. But yeah, no, my taste has kind of I prefer, if anything, the smaller. Like even like a Nova. Novas are still kind of big. But even like give me a Pinto. You know, give me something weird and unusual. One of those Marlins. Those Marlins that we found. Maybe not exactly muscle car, but kind of the sub muscle car. Pinto? Those Pinto wagons? You seen those two-door Pinto wagons? They're hot stuff. Hot stuff. The AMC, yeah, it was an AMC Marlin. So yeah, they might have like the same body stuff, certainly not as powerful or sought after. But I always like I guess I'm finding myself liking the off norm, you know, like a Corvair instead of a Camaro or a Mustang. A Falcon, even though Falcons kind of have a muscle car following as kind of the precursor to the Mustangs. Yeah, I don't know. I certainly think they're cool, but they're also like it might have honestly been because of the kind of the baby boomer market into the muscle cars. You know, same thing happened to the 50s cars, and then muscle cars really shot up in value and desirability, and now that's starting to bleed over into the sports and Japanese imports, your 240Zs and whatnots. Yeah, a Dodge Dart, a Valiant. Yeah, I suppose if we're sticking with the Mopar stuff, I really like a Dodge Dart, Dodge Valiant. I don't know why a slant 6 tickles my nickel. Is this a spawner? We haven't had a spawner in a while. Oh, that's a spawner, all right. Do we take the time to uncover? I don't know. This one might be a lot of work. Wolfie, come over here, will ya? Hey, Wolfie. You dingus. All right, let's see. Like I said, this might be too much work for what it's worth. But yeah, I guess that's the long and the short of it. Do I like 90s imports? I had a 90s import. I had the SVX. I don't know, I'm finding myself in a strange place. I mean, it's a lot of it comes down to what can you afford? Not much. Which is why I have a Corolla. Well, that didn't help me out at all. Alright. Oh, they're drowning! Get drowned upon! Oh god, don't join them! Hi. It's fine. Loud. Rude dudes. Alright, I'm gonna need more dirt, and there isn't much to be had around these parts. So yeah, that's what I think about. That's what I think about your challengers. Whoop, God, why? Oh, it's the block offset. I'm like, why am I so bad at placing blocks? That's right. The game is all jazzed up. I got this. Don't worry. I can do this myself. I'm a grown boy. I'm a real boy. I didn't pick up any of that dirt, did I? Listen. I got it now. I got you now. Yeah. How do you like these apples? Oh, geez, we still have a breach. Listen, this is fine. This is totally gonna be worth it. Oh dear. Oh jeez. Ah, jeez. Come on, touch that side. There we go. Alright, here we go. I got a plan. Whoop, I don't have a plan anymore. Listen. Aha! Such action! You never expect this from an episode of Far Lands or Bust, do you? Just put it, place the block. There we go. Woo! I think it's a zombie spawner. Wild guess. God, these take forever to break. There we go. Alright, there's at least one. What do we got? Is it gonna be worth it? Absolutely not. Where do we think the other one might be? Oh, there it is. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord, they're coming. Get. Go on, get. Don't touch me. Oh, I almost fell in. Can I look at that chest? No. How do I deal with this? Do I have gravel? I do. I might be able to suffocate them? If I do this... Can't. Because they're in my way. Listen, yous. This is a real pain. Look at the chest. Oh, I can't. Dang guy. Chest! I got it. A bucket, some bread, and some wheat. Alright, that was not worth it, as I had expected. Now you shall all flood! You shall all flood Slightly, at least. Ah! Can you breathe water? I think not. Are they not drowning? I guess there's an air pocket down there. Get drowned. Whoa! Okay. Alright, that's enough. That's enough funny business. Remember the last time I made one of these with TNT and then I put it on my screenshot and it got far more views than all my other Farlands videos? I'm gonna do that again. I'm gonna get that clickbait. I almost called it bait click. Alright, continuing on. All this progress we made. Another vortex. Another dimension. Indeed. Oh yeah. Did I answer your question? Andreas, I think the same Andreas had another question. Have you tried letting Juno and the cats get used to each other under controlled circumstances? Not yet. Not yet. We did a while ago. And Juno had more of a aggressive reaction than we anticipated. So we put that off. When will we see Juno on stream again? Eventually. I don't feel like you saw Juno much on stream before. She's not as predictable as the cats. But yeah, like we do occasionally put the cats in like, did you not get Wolfie? It's entirely plausible that I did not. Going back. Did I or didn't I? I don't remember. Let's get off here and see. No, I got him. Ah, dang it. All that back and forth. Of course I got Wolfie. I never forget Wolfie, ever. I don't know what you could possibly be insinuating. Alright, we need a hidey hole though now. I've never forgotten Wolfie ever. And Farlands or bust. Alright, I guess we're digging in here, huh? Hey, Wolfie. Uh-oh, is my spoon gonna break? Oh, good thing I don't need it. Oh, I need it. Oh, there it goes. Bloink. Alright, yep, up. No, you're gonna stay right there. Indeed. Alright. Woo! Exciting, different things happening here in Farlands or Bust. Never thought she'd see the day I'd spend so long extracting a spawner only to get 3 pieces of wheat. What do I need? I need to make a new shovel, and I'll make it out of iron. Okay. Definitely creepers walking around upstairs. Let's make some beds. As well as another boat. Why not? For insurance. Boat insurance. Let's grab the workbench and remind everybody, farlandsorbust.com, donate to our charity fundraiser and ask a question if you got one. Give me things to talk about when I'm not extracting underwater spawners, as well as hopefully you get this in time. Charity UHC with Mindcrack. 3 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time on Thursday, April 9th, on twitch.tv/KurtJMac or twitch.tv/Mindcrack. And thank you everybody for watching. Hope you're all doing well. My name is Kurt. I will see you next time. Is it going to be worth it? Absolutely not.